trucks built to serve.
Back here with Coach Mangini, and we're talking the new look Patriots. No Tom Brady, but yes, Julian Edelman. Their Super Bowl MVP wide receiver returns this season with a bit of a vengeance, looking to show the league that this Patriots team can still be competitive, Wilds. One anonymous Patriot thinks Edelman is even more motivated this season because of this. He said, quote, Julian is Julian. He hates excuses. He hates to lose. He's already got the red expletive about this season. People thinking we're no good and that he's just a product of Brady. Coach, the two spent 11 years together. You think Edelman is just a product of Tom Brady?
I don't think he's solely a product of Tom Brady, but I don't know if he's seen any of the prequels starring Wes Welker or Deion Branch or Troy Brown. They all kind of look the same, and they all have the same protagonist. And look, I'm a big Office fan, and I liked it the most when Michael Scott was there, and I didn't like it after he left. I think that things look different when Tom Brady leaves. The chemistry that these guys have had, the understanding of how the coverages work and where each other's going to be, that's not going to exist anymore. And the unselfishness that Tom approached throwing the football and his willingness to take these short passes, it's not the approach that every quarterback has. Now, whether or not they can get Brian Hoyer to do that or Jarrett the Javelin to do that, it remains to be seen. But the success, that the type that has worked in New England is very similar to what we've seen with Edelman. And look, maybe it'll be different. It's just hard to think it will.
So historically, I assume it's going to be the same, Coach. And I don't think when we talk about Edelman's legacy as a player, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that he's a product of a good environment, right? So like Bill Gates had a computer lab in like the late 60s and he became Bill Gates. That's the same with Edelman. At a certain point, you accumulate enough accolades that people separate you from like the advantageous situation that he was in. And we look at playoff receiving yards, he's third all time. Do I think that makes him a Hall of Famer? Yeah, I do. It's Jerry Rice, Julian Edelman, and Michael Irvin. Pretty good. And I know, Nick, you're going to be like, well, he's just compiling, he's compiling. But there's enough handful of like wonderful catches like this one in the Super Bowl that he wins the MVP. We win that game. It becomes like a legendary performance that I think, yeah, he's great. So should he have a little bit of, extra motivation this year to prove to everybody that he's not just a product of Brady? Probably, but to me, he stands on his own.
Okay. That is such utter hoggle. I mean, I'm excited. You know who watched that segment and started preparing his Hall of Fame speech? David Tyree. He has an even more impressive Super Bowl catch and an even more iconic moment. If that's what gets you in, okay, listen. You know what I wish I would have had, and shame on me for not having it ready? All-time NBA playoff scorers and minutes leaders, because you know what you'll see? Damn, Derek Fisher must have been amazing. Or he was just on some fantastic teams and played forever. Guys, we know what Julian Edelman is. He is obviously a product of Brady, and more power to him. He hitched his wagon to the brightest star the NFL has ever seen. They had a great relationship. Julian managed to keep himself out of trouble until Brady left, and then he instantly started getting in Twitter battles and got arrested and stuff. But listen, he's been great alongside Brady, and he has had some great playoff moments. But the numbers are undeniable. There's 3 players in NFL history with at least 500 catches who have fewer or a lower yards per catch than Edelman. One is Jason Witten, a plotting tight end. The other is Frank Wycheck, a plotting tight end. And the other is Danny Amendola, who was Julian Edelman alongside Julian Edelman. Like, Wilds, you say it's not, and I want to kick it back to you for a moment, Wilds. You say it's not the scheme. Doesn't every scheme want guys to run past defenders, to like get yards after the catch? Wouldn't that be the scheme if he had the ability to do it?
I don't know. I think it schemes to win games, and he seems like he's got 3 Super Bowl rings, Nick. So to me, the schemes to win games. I know in your world, like rings don't really count. LeBron can lose, and Patrick Mahomes can win 1, and he's all of a sudden the best. But in the New England world, rings count, and he's got 3 rings, so it's good with me. Coach,
Jenna, this highlight package.
Right?
Jenna, hold on.
Wait. Go ahead, Nick.
I apologize, Jenna. This highlight package, I just wanted it to keep running because there's one play on here where he gets legitimate yards after the catch, and there's an awful illegal crackback block to open him up. Like, the only way he's streaking down the field is if one of his teammates cheats for him, Jenna. I mean, we know what he is.
Oh, no.
All right, look, we can argue till the cows come home whether Edelman is a product of Brady or a product of Belichick. But Coach, let's just take a little bit of a step back here, a broader look. What does post-Tom Brady life look like on the New England Patriots? Is it just going to be about what Edelman can do or what Stidham can do? Take a step back and tell me what life post-Tom Brady is going to look like on this team.
Well, it's going to be a lot more difficult on Sundays for Kevin than it has been for the last 20 years because you're going from the greatest of all time to 2 guys that are trying to figure it out. And the system is a good system. And Nick, you can't take away from his production. Okay, there still is. You still have to be able to get open. You still have to understand how coverages work. And granted, it's not the most impressive athletic skill set or numbers that you could have for a receiver, but it's smart football. It's understanding how to read away from coverages, how to get open, and there's something to be said for that. Now, the quarterbacks that are coming in, they'll be in the same system, but whether or not they truly understand it the way that Tom did, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen right away. And the trust factor between the 2 players, it's hard to replace that as well.
Wilds, listen, I feel like you feel attacked by me here, and I don't mean to. I'm trying to give credit, though, where it's due, and I firmly believe there are 50 guys in NFL history, at least, that could have plugged and played in Edelman's spot for the last 11 years and had the same production. Most of them probably could have done it without getting dinged for a steroid suspension along the way that we just act like didn't happen. But like I think Brady is obviously the secret sauce here. And I feel like that is a compliment to your favorite player ever. And I think we're going to see Julian Edelman probably either a year from now be in Tampa Bay or a year from now be on Nesson breaking down Patriot games. That would be my guess.
Okay. So look, I'm not arguing that luck is a huge factor of this. I really don't. I think Bill Gates is lucky. I think Steve Jobs is lucky. I don't believe in these singular geniuses. I think they have to be put into situations that they can take advantage of. Do I think that he's going to be on Nesson next year? No, I don't think so. I think that they're going to go 12-4. And then how many years does he have left? Coach, what has he got? 2 years left on his contract? So I feel good about him and Jarrett the Javelin.
Just quickly, because you've now brought up Bill Gates. And I'm sorry, Coach, but you've now brought up Bill Gates and Steve Jobs twice. Julian Edelman is not Bill Gates, not Steve Jobs. He's not Mark Zuckerberg. He's the dumber of the 2 Winklevoss twins. He just happened to be around the greatness, and he's been along for the ride since then, and that's why we know him.
It's just football osmosis, Wilds. That's all it is. He's been absorbing over the years.
Winklevosses. It's Welker and Edelman are the Winklevoss twins.
Giannis could be taking his talents to Toronto this offseason. That's north of the border. That's next. This is First Things First. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you,